Okay. Wow, I'm thirsty today. Probably is because I did a lot of yard work. Kids do this thing where it's like... And honestly, I dig it. Anyway, we digress. Today, we're going to do a sit down and chat video. Got a stain on my shirt. Okay, you know what? Hold tight, take 10, I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Okay, it's going to be a bit on the nose, I'm not going to lie, but I'm talking about growth, personal growth, how we grow, and what growth looks like in your 20s. I just feel like your 20s are such a confusing time in the first place, and then adding this pressure to like grow and be better into the equation is just like, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I wanted to talk about that today. I really want to do my best to keep this conversation raw and unedited. I have done a bit of prep, but clearly we're going on a tangent today. What accent was that? I have no idea. Anyway, as I was saying, I really want to try and keep this organic and fun. I should probably put the pen down. That makes me look really serious. And yeah, just see where it takes us. See where the night takes us. Or the day, depending on where you are in the world. It's 4 p.m. here, so. Vivid in the bone. Phosphorescent. If I was to ask you when in your life you had experienced the most growth, I can nearly guarantee that whatever you're about to say is something that was either difficult or painful, maybe even traumatic. When I look at my life and the times when I have grown the most, they were all difficult circumstances. I can think of a breakup scenario. I can think of when I decided to give up a future corporate trajectory in the legal field because I studied law to pursue a creative career, a creative job. And I can also think of when I decided to quit said job in the creative industry and actually try and make it as a freelancer, as an illustrator, as a designer from my own business, basically. And in those moments, those decisions, those circumstances were either really painful or really stressful because you don't know what's going to happen next, but they caused the most growth in my life. But yeah, I guess like in hindsight, I can really see God's hand moving in all of those situations and like leading me to the best possible outcome. But in the moment, you can never know. You never know. But how does this relate to growth? Well, obviously these situations caused me a lot of growth, but in my head, it's kind of, I've got this equation happening where it's like growth equals discomfort or discomfort equals growth. You can't really have, well, you can have one without the other, but I think the most growth happens in uncomfortable situations. And if that equation is true, then surely comfort, the opposite of discomfort, equals stagnancy, the opposite of growth. Right? Is that right? But one of the problems I see in my own life and in the life of so many millennials, Gen Zs, alphas, we're all in this together. All in this. Oh, I got my pen in my hand again. All in this together. I never actually saw this movie, but I know that song. We digress. The problem that I see is that we are so dang comfortable all the time. Heck, I don't even have to say anything. I can just show you. Our digital, automated, like instantaneous world that we live in is a big problemo. I was reminded of a trip that I took to the UK in like 2019, I think. Basically, we walked into a bunch of these castles and I got to see the different living conditions that were sort of maintained for some of the royalty that lived in these places. And oh my goodness, I was so confronted because these houses that they live in, this is like 300 years ago, not even. They were filled with like a bed, but the bed doesn't have a mattress. The bed just has straw in it. And then you go down into the kitchen and it's like there's a slaughter pit for the animals that they have to kill in order to eat. And we're seeing that and seeing that like we're not even we're only a few hundred years in the future, and now you can instantaneously at the touch of a button order like any kind of bedding you want from anywhere in the entire world. And the fact that like I don't have to slaughter any animals. I mean, I'm a vegetarian, but like if I did eat meat, I wouldn't have to ever slaughter an animal to eat it. I could just press a button and it will be delivered to my door, soaked in beautiful tandoori sauce with rice and naan on the side. We are so comfortable. I once heard it said that all of our modern life, like everything that we are motivated towards, is in pursuit of comfort. And when I heard that, I don't know who it was by, a very wise person, but when I heard that, I was like, yeah, it like really caused me to analyze my own life and the things that I pursue. And I gotta say, it's bang on. It's like hit the nail on the head. It's on the money. It's insert other idiom here. The point I'm trying to make is that in our comfortable lives, we have access to everything. We are so lucky. And you'd think we'd all be happy, and you think we'd all be like Maslow's hierarchy. We think we'd all be like self-actualizing. But a lot of us aren't, even though we have all of our needs met. And it's just this fascinating phenomenon where like in the Western world, again, we're so comfortable, but we have the highest rates of anxiety and depression and mental health issues that we've ever had. That's weird to me because it seems as comfort increases, ability to deal with difficult circumstances, to engage with like real life, like the grunt of it, decreases. And personally, I think the comfort that we see in our world today, the fact that it's so much easier to wake up and scroll on social media than do pretty much anything else, has really affected my spiritual life and my spiritual health. And when I say spiritual, I mean, yes, my relationship with God, but also just like the broader perspective of reality and how I engage with me as like a tiny human, one of like 7 billion, 6 billion, whatever we're at now, billion humans on the planet in a solar system. Like just that existential perspective, that is like totally lost on me when I get caught in the comforts and pursuing the comforts of every single day. Growth is a really interesting concept to me when you look at kind of birth to death. Not to be morbid, but simply because as a kid, growth is really easy to measure. Every year at Christmas, your extended family comment, "Oh my goodness, you've gotten so much taller." Or every year back to school, it's like, "Wow, I can't believe you're in grade 5 now." And then you're learning all the time. You know, you're learning new vocabulary, new skills, new academic things. You are put in a system where people that are your age are all in the same cohort as you, and you're all being compared to each other. And then you get out of school and you go to university, and again, you're sort of being, it's similar, it's a looser system, but you're still being compared to everyone else. And then you enter the workforce. And suddenly, yes, okay, in some workplaces there is that element of like corporate ladders and comparison and all that kind of stuff. But I'd say on the whole, suddenly you're like tossed into a different system, a random system where you can choose any career that you want. You can work on a laptop in the middle of the Bahamas, or you can be like a partner in a law firm in London, Or you can have 5 kids at age 25. Like, the opportunities and the potential is endless. And that is a really stressful, not stressful, but like confusing reality. Because how do you then measure growth? Well, I mean, the obvious answer is that we get an Instagram account and we start posting selfies and we start tuning our faces, or like the classic performative kind of proof that we're successful. The real question is, what are we growing in? What are we measuring? Are we simply growing in our material wealth, in our status and reputation? That's obviously an element, but I would say that the much more important realm of growth that we don't talk about very much is the growth of our hearts and the growth of our souls, for lack of a better word. Because it's that inner life, that inner world that really determines your happiness and everything. It determines everything. The way that you perceive the world, the way that you engage with the world, your heart determines everything. And I think it's important to note here that growing in your physical, tangible assets, for example, and growing in your spiritual inner life are not mutually exclusive things. And we kind of look at the former thing in like this really negative light. It's like, you shouldn't want that, you're just selfish for wanting that, like tangible success is bad. And then we look at the latter and we're like, wow, that's so amazing. But if you're going to be kind, you can't also be rich. And it's like this weird, at least in my head and in like spiritual environments or like religious environments, you kind of see this black and white kind of approach. I think reality is gray. You can definitely have both. But I think when it comes to growth, the state of our heart, the things we believe about ourselves, the behaviors that we embody on the daily, really do influence the success that we can have in that physical realm. Like, if I believe that I am worthy, if I believe that I am deserving of good things, if I believe that I'm beautiful and kind and generous and all of these wonderful attributes, surely that means that I'm more likely to receive them. Surely that means I'm more likely to go for the job opportunity, to have confidence in myself, like on an action basis, but also just like to be willing to receive things and to not have a scarcity mindset all the time, and to just be a positive thinker and a more pleasant person to be around. That opens up so many doors. There is this quote from biblical scripture, actually, that I've always thought is so wise and I've always loved, and I've clung to it. And it says, good here, above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. I really love this piece of wisdom because it really demonstrates that it is the state of our heart, the state of our inner world, that determine our happiness, our success, our abundance, I guess, in this life. And so if you are wanting to grow in a tangible way, if you really want that promotion at work, if you really want to lose some weight or gain some weight or change your body, or if you really want a relationship, then work on the growth of your heart first. Work on your ability to receive those things. Work on your kindness. Be a lovely person to be around. Get your perspective right on what's important. Learn to put boundaries in place. Learn to prioritize the important things. Because if you don't, no matter how much success you have in this tangible area, it will probably be taken from you, either in a broken relationship or in like misplaced priorities at work, broken family situation, in like overwhelm, stress, burnout, health issues. All of those things stem from what is inside. I really think that growth can be measured in how loving and joyful and peaceful and patient and kind we are. No one cares that you've just bought an investment property. No one cares if you've just got a promotion and a raise at work. These are all the ways that we tend to measure growth and success. But people will care about how kindly you treat them, and they will remember that. And until we're aware of some of these concepts, we're probably going to be so distracted by everything that we fail to even take a step back and actually measure like the growth of our hearts compared to everything else. Okay guys, well that's what I have to say on this topic. I've very much exhausted the notes that I took. So if you lashed onto anything and if anything resonated with you, please like keep the conversation going in the comments. I would love to engage with you guys. Yeah, growth, comfort. Difficult one. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in another video very, very soon. Love ya. Bye.